welcome everybody to the main event 142. And as I refer to it, the return of Brian Lapinski. Brian was with us back at the end of August. Back then he was doing a lot of anatomical surrealism images that were fascinating, and everybody was totally enthralled by them when he was on. And then there's been so much stuff that he's been doing since, experimenting in different areas, and other positive things are happening in his life. And Brian and I are in regular touch with each other, and so I just said we got to have him on. And to tell you the truth, Brian, I didn't have anybody for this week. And I just knew our relationship was such that if I asked you to come on, you would come on.
Absolutely.
But what everybody needs to know is he took a day off of work to do this, telling him that it was his brother's birthday. So
it's not a lie. He did yell at me though for forgetting. So
okay. Well, anyway, as usual, I'd like to start off with the news, and there's some very interesting things in the news this week. Gen AI Intel report for November came out, and this includes a 53-page report about the 10 top releases in November and the 6 more early December releases. It's very comprehensive. It's talking about all these different programs, well worth reading and seeing everything that they're saying about them. The next news about Google, they will launch its first AI-powered glasses next year in a bid to compete with Meta in a growing market for smart specs. 2 types are planned: an audio-only model featuring Gemini AI Assistant, and a more sophisticated option with in-lens display for navigation and translation. This product is supposed to allow people in different languages to speak to one another. It includes 46 different languages. Theoretically, if both people had glasses on, they would be able to have a conversation and everybody would be able to understand each other. This is a big news, and the headline on it was, "It's an AI world after all." We can all sing that. It's an AI world after all. Why? Because Disney will invest $1 billion equity into OpenAI, becoming the first major studio to license a large slate of characters and media for use in OpenAI models, including its video generation platform Sora. The 3-year deal covers more than 200 Disney, Marvel, Pixar, and Star Wars characters for user-generated shorts, social-style videos with Sora and ChatGPT, with Disney retaining the option to curate select clips for Disney. No talent likeness or voices are included. Agreement restricts portrayal involving drugs, sex, alcohol, or cross-brand interaction. The service is expected to launch in early 2026. But as far as I'm concerned, the biggest news is Adobe Photoshop, Acrobat, and Express have become conversational because they are now available in ChatGPT. Now, what that means is you can actually tell, and I'm going to be doing a client project with 8 photo retouchings, and I've already talked to ChatGPT about this coming up. The thing is, using the voice control, I will be able to speak to ChatGPT and tell it what I want it to change in the photos and what I want to do, and it has full capabilities in Photoshop. It can draw vectors, paths, which we'll need to do that. I can describe what areas of the photo I want to make some changes in. All of the images that I'm doing, the client has produced probably mid-journey, and they're very nice pictures, and they don't have a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed. But there are always things in images where it could be a distraction away from the message of their client's product. So I go through and I don't get told what to do. They basically say to me, retouch these things, because they know that I'm going to go through and make these things work properly. I will verbally tell ChatGTP what I need changed in the picture. It will do those changes, and we'll get those 8 images all retouched. And I'm looking forward to this. Now, what does this mean in terms of near future? Obviously, like Adobe has been using Firefly as a free app to be able to do various trial of things that they're now going to incorporate into their regular products. This is obviously leaning to the idea that someday in the not too distant future, we are going to be able to have a chat program inside Adobe products, and we will be able to talk to Photoshop, Illustrator, and right now it's Photoshop, Acrobat, and Express, but you can expect that they're going to go in this direction. And I think this is a good thing for professionals who, I always say an art director is a good person for prompting because of the fact that their job is to describe to an illustrator or a retoucher what they specifically want done in the picture. So they're used to verbalizing these things. The thing that I'm concerned about is for people who are not as experienced as professionals and may have some difficulty in knowing how to describe what they want done in the pictures, or they may not know that there are certain things that ought to be changed, but they didn't notice it. People like Glenn and Eric and myself, and Sherry, we spot this stuff just automatically and know what kind of changes to make. But I'm looking forward to trying this out. I'll let you know how the retouching experience went. And then finally, the last thing that I posted, our good friend here, Sherry Horwitz, she posted a beautiful love song called If. And she used Claude and Suno to produce this. Please, everybody, listen to it. She's actually given us the link to her Suno page. So I don't know if you know this or not, Sherry, but I was starting to listen to some of your other songs when I went on to listen to those as well. And she has generously, in the comment to my comment in the comment section, is that enough comments? She has given us the prompt that she used for getting this song in Suno. So Sherry, thank you, and congratulations on just a beautiful, beautiful thing. I've listened to it at least 3 or 4 times now.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to talk about, little tips and hacks if anybody wants to use Suno, if you want me to.
Okay, well, let's go with Brian, and then let's see what happens. Well, you said you may not be hanging around much longer, right?
Yeah, I can stay till 12:30.
Okay, well, let's do it now. Take too much time doing it, but anybody that has any questions about prompting in Suno.
I'll be real quick. Yeah, I just wanted to share just some things that I learned.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us about some of that, and then if anybody has further questions, we can do it.
Sure, I'll be really quick. So I originally wrote this poem 2013, and it was published, and I always wanted to turn it into a song. But I know music. I played a little bit as a kid, studied, but I don't have like the chops to do arrangements or anything like that. So what I did with ChatGPT, with Claude, I mean, because Claude's most creative, is tell it to describe a genre that would align with the natural rhythm of the poem itself. Because spoken language has its own rhythm, and music needs to either accompany or not fight that rhythm. So I reworked the lyrics a bit, not really, it really kept true to the poem, but I just embellished them. And I went back and forth between a description of a genre and instruments that I wanted to hear, and a structure that would sort of align with it and play with it. Because lyrics have to match the rhythm of the music choices you're making. So that really, very quickly, it helped me structure the poem and give Suno the information it needed for, intro, outro, bridge, chorus, verse, and wrote a very detailed prompt, which you can see in the link, about how I wanted the song to sound. So a year ago, I couldn't do this in Suno, but the prompt gives a ton of control, a ton of control. So it's a combination of the lyric structure and the song description. And that's what I wanted to say.
When I use Udio, we can do like 30-second segments, so you can select, a 30-second section, then you can add more sections, you can add an intro or an outro to it. But is this being produced as a continuous song?
Yes, all at once.
Say that again?
All at once.
Yeah.
It's just mind-blowing. The more information you give it, the more it's able to just produce it all at once.
Well, that in itself is sufficient for me to be considering going to Suno. I mean, I got tons of credits and I've done lots of work on Udio, and I like it very much. But the idea that you could take and do an entire piece at once, I think is fantastic. I think the intro sound before the words is fantastic. And then tying back into that a little bit at the end. Just amazing piece. And everybody, please listen to this thing.
Yeah, I have two versions of it on my page. And, I'm actually thinking of now putting a lot of my poems and making an album, playing around with that. I'm glad you like it.
Great idea. Questions, anybody? Okay. Well, Sherry, thank you so much. We're going to turn it over to Brian now. Brian, tell us what you've been doing since the last time you were on, and we're looking forward to seeing the big variety of work you've been doing.
Yeah, I think it's really pretty much the name of my game is experimenting, see what I could do. Different cinematographic styles. Really just playing around with different tools. I started building some of my own stuff, incorporating that into my workflow, different styles of prompting, and really just seeing what kind of visuals I can get, and eventually make my way over into video. I keep saying that, I sound like a broken record, but that's pretty much my end goal. I just want to make sure that I could really get the 16:9 format and good storytelling, and then transition that way. But
somebody's got their audio on. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah. And then I think that Suno sounds really interesting. I come from a background before I was doing photography and image work. I was a slam poet, so I used to perform. I have tons and tons of poetry written in binders and everything. So I think I'm gonna have to try that out. It sounds interesting. But as far as Midjourney and things like that, I'm incorporating my own tools into that now. You can share some of my latest stuff if you guys are interested.
Please.
Yeah, so this reminds me very much of Salgado's work, which was completely unintentional, but my favorite photographers occasionally show up in my work, and this one is very blatant. Sebastião Salgado is a very deep documentary style photographer, and he's got a lot of really poignant images that are very impactful, and I could see a lot of his influence in these, and it was really just an idea of a desert plane cracked really hot and people wanting rain, and it kind of turned into uh, this ceremonial piece that I kind of kept going with, and I did two different versions. I did the black and white, and then I did, the grays and blues, give it a little cooler effect. Um, but these are probably some of my favorite images. And then the carousel too. This is something that I'm working on creating. Vibe coded a LinkedIn app to do this for just for LinkedIn. I was using Google AI Studio for that. It was pretty simple.
You can enter a PDF into a post by adding it in as a document. There's different choices of what you're going to, but if you put a PDF in as a document, as long as it's 100 megabytes or less.
Right. Yeah, I kind of like the huddled masses here. Then the long line. I like leading lines that kind of just go off into the distance and disappear, all faceless. I kind of like doing that. I don't really like giving too many faces to characters unless I'm doing portraiture and stuff, which I still enjoy doing, but not as much as I used to. I thought these were pretty cool. I wanted to kind of jump into the sci-fi realm, see what I could do with sci-fi, and it was really testing out what my tool was capable of doing, and what kind of prompts I would get, from the tool.
Tell us about the tool. What is it that you've made?
So I could probably show you that real quick. So this is like a portion of it. So this is one that I built. So it's just I could breed different styles. So I could upload two different images. I can upload an image into an extractor. It'll give me, a fairly large data point, colors, all the details. It analyzes the image. Then I have different styles in here that'll like I can make different decades, 1900s, Victorian era, all the way up into digital revolution. And then I could blend these as well. So I could take like a 1970s grit realism and mix it with something completely different, like a film noir, and get those two different styles together. And it provides a prompt. So once it provides that prompt, what I generally do is take it to my architect section. So you could say like what I usually do is I'll go in, I could hit magic rewrite. So it takes a minute, it'll analyze that. It provides a new prompt. So I had to build this prompting structure and everything into the system. Kind of tailored to how I was prompting before this. It's just streamlined it a little bit.
But you built this whole thing.
Yeah, I vibe coded this whole thing on Unlovable.
Well, the thing that I find interesting about it is it's different than like going to ChatGPT to write a prompt for you, in that you've got this ability to specify the mix of styles and things like that. I think that's a nice addition.
Yeah, I like doing that with black and white. Even some of the grittier stuff that I do came from this. There we go. Took long enough. So it'll produce, a pretty nice prompt. You get your cameras and different things in there. If you're working with a different tool, not Midjourney, I mean, they'll still work. I use this for Nano Banana as well. I just don't do the, V7 and stuff. But over here you have your smart blocks. So these are all suggestions. So if I wanted to add in, a different vintage film aesthetic to it, I could select that. It'll put, stock Kodachrome on the end. And, it gives a whole list of different blocks, references, and things like that that you can actually put into it. And then you could do an AI enhance. Um, you can also do like one word and then explode that word, and it'll give you an entire prompt based on that word. And then, that's for those, sometimes myself, I struggle with coming up with ideas. So I'll sit here and just do that and hopefully get an idea, and then I'll just refine on that idea and try to come up with something good.
It's very cool.
But then we'll just like I'll copy it, I'll take it over to Midjourney. So let's see. I don't have any mood boards selected, so I'll drop it in and see what it does without any mood boards. And you can see these, some of my favorite ones up top that I like to experiment with. Like these, these are based on old GAN photography, like Klingemann and the AI artists that are still out there doing it, but really kind of drove it forward with GAN. So I kind of mimicked their art style to get that appearance, which I really like because it's a little different.
And so, what I find interesting about this, Brian, is that you are defining a style where arbitrarily selecting an SREF or even the building of an SREF you're now capable of doing.
Right.
I did not find that very satisfying to be building something, because it was still giving you options, and then you select something and then gives you more options and all this sort of thing. And it feels like the control is in the program's hand, not in yours.
Right.
And I would much rather prompt something than to spend a fair amount of time experimenting to try to find an SREF that I design that satisfies what I would want to do.
Right. And then that's really where my mood boards come into play. So I'll find something that I like, certain aesthetic and my style, and kind of just go with that. And some of my favorites are, I really like this one. I like my black and white that I've been playing around with quite a lot. And then this one here, it's very very minimal and structured, geometric. This is probably my favorite one overall. I just really like that aesthetic, the grays and the deep reds. So that's a good one for me.
So the thought that's going through everyone's mind right here at the moment has got to be, Brian, when are you going to make this available to everybody to use?
I have a couple people in there right now that's playing around with it, and the House of Curiosity, those guys have they have the link, so they could drop in and play around with it. And I don't know, at some point I'd like to kind of push it out and see what happens. I have a few things to do on it yet. I want to get rid of some of the tools that are in there that just don't make sense with the overall layout of it. The editing tool, things like that don't really fit in with what the rest of it's about. It kind of started out as a community building app, and I want to get rid of that and just have it as a specific style and prompting app.
Well, I'm betting that once you get through with your refinements that you want to do, that there would definitely be a market for this app. I really do, because, like I said, what the selling point of this, as far as I'm concerned, is the amount of control you have over the direction that it goes, versus just having ChatGPT write something.
Right. That's good, because I have the availability to iterate on it and continuously go back and forth and feed my own excuse me, and feed my own images back into my own system. And I just have a really nice loop of work that I'm able to do. Some of the images I did today before the show, that's with that one mood board. But yeah, it gives good results, even with no mood boards. It's just my V7 profile, my global profile on these four, and it gives a nice pop, gives a nice prompt. Like I said, it was really about me cutting down the amount of time I needed to put a good prompt together, get a good image, and streamline my workflow. And I have a Lean Six Sigma background, so the quicker and more efficient I can become, the better off I'll be in the long run.
It's awesome work, Brian. Blown away. I don't know how you do it, but it's amazing.
I appreciate it.
Do you have something in the app for like character consistency if you wanted to, create a story and use like say one of these guys that we're looking at right now, but seem in various different scenes? Is there
There's nothing.
like Midjourney does the omni reference thing that you could use and things like that?
I haven't even tried that. Honestly, that's probably a really good addition. Like I already have Gemini built into it, so I can create images that way. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was more about the prompting and the style extraction and consistent styles, because that's something I like. I just really enjoy building mood boards and getting a certain aesthetic. Yeah, the consistency of characters wasn't something I really looked into, but it does. I get really good 4 panels. I can do pretty good storyboards and stuff with it. Just the prompting, but I might look into that.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting idea, because that's such it's a hot topic, but it's also something that's been desired for quite a while in terms of omni-reference in Midjourney is pretty good, but we're getting much more consistent things using Nano Banana.
Right, and that's I like using Nano Banana. I've been using it at work actually for KPI boards set up and things like that. So just getting ideas and utilizing that more in the manufacturing arena than I am doing digital art.
Looks like the hands with the gloves there, you had a little bit of Michael Jackson in mind.
Yeah, I thought that too when they came up. I was like, let's try it. But that was another thing. I was playing around with another app that I'm doing with it takes songs or poetry, the context of it, turns that into a prompt. So then I was using those prompts to put into my other tool and seeing what I can get out of them. So some of these are built on prompts and different forms of poetry. Like I had some beatnik stuff, old Gregory Corso and Lawrence Ferlinghetti and things like that I was utilizing for some of this stuff.
Teresa has a question.
I wanted to ask, is your app, it's customized for you?
It is customized.
Right? So if I started using it, would it adapt to my style? Can I customize it for my own things?
Yeah, there's a lot of customization in it. Like if you want certain cameras, certain styles,
or does it
go ahead.
Or does it just learn because of the ones I'm using the most? I mean, like, do I go in and choose, say, a set of customizations that could be a style for me?
It does save, and the way that I have it coded on the back end, it tracks the user's most used styles, extractions, things of that nature. So in the back end, I have Supabase, so it will log all of that stuff. You could save it, you could put it in your history.
So it becomes its own algo. So that's cool.
Does. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Plus,
Amazing work.
plus,
Thank you.
plus the fact, Teresa, that you can create mood boards and the images that you like, like he's doing, so that you've got that as an established style for you.
Right.
Sure, but sometimes you might want to do something and you don't have anything for that particular thing. So you would, you know what I mean? So you'd want to
Yeah.
get in there and create that. Thank you so much. I'm really impressed, and I'm gonna buy it or test it or whatever you want,
I appreciate it.
of course.
But yeah, I haven't I mean most of my time recently was really building different kinds of apps. So I have some educational apps that I was working on, node-based education. But it's all primarily based around things that I want to experiment with. So if I want to learn vibe coding, I built an educational app for that so I could, study it myself based on how well, what's easiest for me, what my style of learning is. This is what I've been doing on Google AI Studio. So this is the one I was telling you about. So I took Gregory Corso's Bomb poem. I don't know if you ever read that. Fantastic. Corso is one of my favorites. So you'll take, the lyrical excerpt or whatever part of the poem or song that you want, put it in there, execute the aesthetic, and it gives a deep read analysis. Different color spectrums. It tells you who Gregory Corso was, what the poem was, time frame, and then it gives you multiple prompts. So you could have, the geography, psychology, and texture, and each one of them is different. So you have a narrative, cinematic, the contrarian. I'll copy each one of these individually, and I'll throw them into Midjourney first, and then I'll throw them into my app, and then I'll refine them that way, and then see what I get on that side. But that's one of the other apps that I've been playing around with. This one's kind of tough because I have to refine it. But this is based on, most current pedagogy teaching styles, and really, I wanted to make it difficult so that way I actually learn what I'm trying to learn. So it's actually a pretty cool app.
Brian, do you have the comments panel up?
And I was using this not just for like vibe coding, but
Do you have the comments panel up on your Zoom? Because there's some things that are being said that you might want to respond to. There's stuff from Flory, and Vesica's got a question.
Well, I was just telling everybody that Brian's going to teach us on Sunday in House of Curiosity how to vibe code and Lovable, and I gave the link.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, thank you.
great.
I will be doing that. I have 2 workshops coming up with the House of Curiosity. So the first one's really going to be an introduction to Lovable, and the layout of it. How to do the initial prompts, depending on what app you're using, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude, and get a nice prompt together and put that in there so that you could start kind of building the application out that you're looking for.
Vesica says, I would like to see how this mood board behaves with other image prompts.
Which mood board?
Well, the mood boards that you're making.
I meant the like gray and red one, for example. Like I noticed how tight your mood boards are.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, do you ever then prompt them with something else than pretty much what the mood board is?
I experiment with all different kinds. So, I'll take that prompt. That's a big one. But this is really how I refine my images. I hide a lot of my stuff just because I don't really want to see it. If I don't like it, I just get rid of it, out of sight, out of mind. But
The picture that the picture that I put into the announcement about today's main event was a rather neat cartoon style that didn't look like Pixar. You know, it had its own kind of style to it, and I was wondering how much you've been doing in that kind of range.
Yeah, that was
There it is in the middle.
yeah, this one? No, it was yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so I actually do have some of this because this is one of my new favorite mood boards. I really like it. I kind of get at a loss of what to do with this style because it doesn't fit with a lot of the things that I normally have ideas for. But I just love I love the aesthetic of it. Oh, I left the other mood board on too.
It's cool, man.
It's gonna come out dark.
Those faces would really look amazing animated.
Yeah, I agree. Next step for Brian Lapinski is animating his characters.
Yeah, I was told the other night somebody reached out and said I have to definitely get into video. And he was like, please. So I got to figure out how to do that and exactly what tool I want to use for that. You know, I played around with Veo for a little bit. I did Kling for a little.
I actually think your voice would be great on one of these characters.
Yeah, I mean, I really do like the aesthetic that mood board gives. It's clearly it's something different.
Yep.
And it looks nice. But, you know, some of them like these ones were based on you know, Gonzo journalism and Ralph Steadman. You know, just real scratchy stuff, and Hunter S. Thompson. A lot of the things that I come up with are really, you know, just from what I'm interested in, whether it's something in the arts or literature, things like that. And I try to take that idea and put it into a style that I like, and then just utilize that. Well, I just really build out, you know, my own interests into imagery that I find interesting.
Well, I think you've taken the idea of experimenting to a whole new level with writing programs to do it. Pretty amazing stuff, Brian.
Thank you. But yeah, see, this is some of the app or the mood board you were talking about. I was playing around with it. I mix and match mood boards all the time. I think that's, you know, another way to get a good style. I don't just stick one mood board on. These are multiple. I mean, you can see I have 2 mood boards on for a lot of them, and a lot of this stuff's not, you know, it's not posted anywhere. I just keep it. I'll come back to it if I want. I'll make mood boards. I was thinking mood boards out of these, just to get that translucence effect. So I would make, you know, I would just, you know, do another strong a couple times on them, and then I'll create my mood board, and I'll be able to keep that aesthetic for later on. Like, these are some ones I thought about animating and trying to put into videos, you know, just the really clean ones. But I mean, that's pretty much my workflow anymore, is really coming up with an idea, putting it into one of the tools that I made, and going from there.
And again, what's the name of that program that you wrote?
I called it Lumini. Okay.
Very cool. Well, do keep us informed about that. You know, if someday you feel that you've got it at a point where you want to release it, in the meantime, you have let some people experiment around with it, which is very generous. I haven't had a chance to do it yet, Brian, because just things have been crazy around here. But looking forward to trying it.
But yeah, from that one, you know, it takes a song lyrics. This was actually Goodbye Blue Sky from Pink Floyd.
Be great with album covers.
Yeah.
People, you got any comments or questions you want to ask?
Yeah. Hi, Brian.
Hey,
Well,
Harry.
you gave me access to your tool and I gave it a try, but if I'm completely honest, I was struggling a bit. I didn't find it super intuitive, so I was hoping you could demonstrate it a bit just to get a better understanding.
So yeah, when I give you access, there wasn't as much to it. This architect wasn't even a part of it at that point.
Yeah. Okay.
So I did a lot of back end work. I do have to go in because right now it's a little slow.
Oh yeah, that looks quite different. Yeah.
What's the pattern generator?
So that was, where is that?
It says new by it.
Okay, now it's not working. I think I have too much open. Yeah, my laptop is not very good. But yeah, so this was something that I was kind of just playing around with. Let me grab an image. Let's do something like this. We could do like a kaleidoscope. And then just generating patterns over it. I don't really know what I was thinking. I wanted to create a kaleidoscope visual and then see where I can go from there. But like I said, most of the stuff that I do is really it's experimenting, playing around, and then either refining or getting rid of it. Doing things like this, and then I'd come up with an idea, maybe layer it or something else. There's all different kinds.
So I always pull in an image from somewhere else and then take it from there. Did I get that right?
You can. I do it with my images for the most part, so that way I constantly have my own loop of creation. And I mean, if I find something I like, if I find like an old surrealist or kind of like a monolith style picture, I'll throw that in and try to get the color out of it and utilize that and at least get the style. This takes a little bit because it does a full analysis and then gives you prompts on top of it. But you get the hex color, you get the color palette, camera angles, things like that. So it breaks everything down for you, which I find to be helpful. So it'll tell you that it's a master class in conveying kinetic energy. You get your visual prompt, which is a full prompt analysis. So your color orchestration, primary colors, secondary colors. Light is a sculptural force, and it'll talk about the different kind of lighting, while casting a torso near silhouette. So it breaks the entire image down. Artistic lineage, cultural genealogy.
And then how do you use this information in your to enhance your prompt?
I was doing it with camera angles, and this is actually because I built this first over the architect. So a lot of the information that this was providing is how I built the architect. And I was thinking, well, this is like pretty useful, but I'm not going to use all of it in a prompt. Coming back and forth and writing. So I built the architect as my prompter, and I took a lot of information from these and then started thinking like a cinematographer, and then took the verbiage and the learning of a cinematographer and built that into the back end that talks to the AI in the app. So they'll come up with the color palette. It doesn't show the right colors right now, so that's something else I have to fix. But it tells you what the dominant palette is down here. It breaks up that color. So if you do like the colors, you know what they are here. You copy and paste that color palette. Well, maybe I'll do that. But code directives, which I don't pay attention to, I don't pay attention to the map ones either. But then you could save these. You could breed these in the style breeder. So I could take two of my images, blend them together, and it comes up with something similar, and it will tell you how they're blended, and then give you a prompt of those two blended styles together, which is also a pretty cool tool. So this is actually the blender. So you could actually select multiple images to blend, so 3 to 5, and then you could put 3 to 5 different images in there, and it will provide you with that conglomerate of styles. Me, I haven't gone over 3. I think it's I think 3 is a little excessive. I kind of just stick with 2. I like minimalism anyways, so it's kind of what I stick with. I don't want to, produce anything too crazy. But you'll drop 2 images, one in each section. Then you could have complete control over everything, over your palette. So you can either, go one way, you're giving more information to parent 1. You go the other way, you're providing more information to parent 2. So you'll be able to lean one way or the other, depending on exactly what you want to do and what kind of style you're looking for. And then you have your advanced controls down here, your color blend, different textures and details, composition and structure of them, and the lighting and atmosphere. And then you could do an AI smart analysis, which will give you, based on the 2 images that you provide, what AI thinks would be best, which is what I usually do. If I want more of, more texture or something, say in portraiture, I'll take texture and detail blend up a little bit more. But it's kind of those. I have to build some of this stuff out as well.
So, Brian, when those things are on the 50% mark, that's the analysis of where the thing is right now based on the picture.
Right, and it'll take those 2 images, analyze them, and kind of it blends everything together. So you'll get an image as well. I had a really difficult time with that at first because it would just do an overlap, but now I got it to the point where it almost looks like the 2 images were, almost married, and that image alone looks all right. It's not something I would post, but it's something I'm able to break down, take those components, and make a pretty good prompt out of it, and then throw that into Midjourney, and you get some interesting results.
Glenn, you got a question or comment?
Hey, Brian.
Hey.
It's great to see you as always, and hear your how your mind works. I feel like you're in your own lane. I can't imagine anyone else in the world is at this level. I'll be honest with you, it's just extraordinary. To me, outside of Midjourney's extraordinary aesthetics, I feel like Midjourney's a toy compared to what you've created. And it's far more random than it is anything else. Like the control you have here, my mind has been blown 20 times in the last 20 minutes.
Thank you.
It's incredible. Outside of your own work, which I think is again, you're in your own lane.
Yeah, I think if you ever do release this program, you're going to have to write a big user manual.
Oh yeah, I know. It's not easy.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels like it. I mean, it's amazing, but it's always also a little bit overwhelming. I didn't know where to start if I'm honest, but it's really crazy.
Yeah, I did try to put some little nodes in there and direction for users, but then I got away from not putting it out there, and then I was building it for myself, so I stopped giving direction on it. I might go back to that and give a user directional interface to it and instruction.
This demo already helped me a lot to get a better understanding about how it works at all. Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Mark, you had a comment or question?
Yeah, a couple of quick things. Yeah, I done a little testing. It was way back now, but I see you've added a lot to it. I think it's a really brilliant conglomeration of things you can do with this app that you're building, Brian. And to Harriet's point, it's because of the variety of things that can be used with it, depending on what people want to do with it, there'll probably be a user manual or tutorial or a project-oriented type of
Yeah.
document, like, how do I create to Eric's point, how can I put together a consistent character going, using some of the various tools that you're putting in. A thought came to mind that I've been thinking about. I had dabbled with extracting colors a while back out of SREFs
Mhm.
with the idea of, and I haven't pursued it, but the use case would be something along the lines of, let's suppose I got a client, Coca-Cola, and you consider their packaging. I know that, let's say that it's two primary colors, that color red and the color white, and it's probably hex codes or Pantone codes or something that match those. I was wondering if you've gotten into trying to develop images where you get really precise. I saw your selectors, but down to like make a can or a box or an object with this specific color with this particular hex code. I'm not sure if you got into that level of granularity. Sorry, my voice is going.
I didn't try that. I'll probably, I don't know, maybe I'll message you offline and see what I could do. I guess
Yeah,
and,
I'll probably be trying it too this weekend. Because I thought of doing that, then I got distracted working on other things, but I want to come back to it because I think the key thing with brands and this relates back to color correction, which it's been my bane as well, with video, particularly extending video, um, where the end frame of one piece is not matching when I start the next video. It's just driving me crazy. But
right.
um, when with the idea of working with brands and perhaps Big Al, I don't know if you've gotten into this, it's like trying to match logo colors or other types of specifics at that level of detail, where getting down to the color code is an area that I want to start looking into more.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't got a chance to get in on the program because we've had a lot going on here with my wife and everything. But it's amazing what you've put together, and I think that, like Glenn said, this makes Midjourney kind of look like a toy.
Uh, like personally, I started building it as my, kind of a mid-journey companion, and then I wanted to do a community style thing on it, and now I'm backtracking on that. So I'm not really sure. I think I like it as the prompting style extractor, and then I mean it does have a generate on here, which is really just nano banana, and then whatever I want to create produces the image. Then I could produce the image here, take that to the style extractor or whatever, and extract that style out and throw that in the mid journey if I want. But I don't really use it. I don't utilize this tool much. And the same thing with some of the other things. I primarily utilize it for information from the style extractor itself, and taking pieces of that and the prompts and dissecting those and building upon some of that stuff.
Just get Midjourney to buy it and you'll be done.
I should, right? That'd be fantastic. I'll take it. I was told to sell it.
Well, Brian, I really am pleased you came on today and demonstrated all this stuff. Maybe you could stop sharing your screen now and we can just kind of wrap things up since we're at the end of the hour. Everybody, thank you for coming in. Absolutely fascinating stuff, Brian. I just want to, before we close out, remind people of what's coming. Next week, on the 19th, we have main event 143 is an interview with Tianyu Zhu, and he is in Singapore because of the time difference. he'd asked if we could pre-record this. So Glenn and Eric have volunteered to come with me as we record this on Tuesday evening to talk about the time difference. It's going to be 8 o'clock our time in the evening, and then it's 9 o'clock in the morning the next day for Tiano. What we're going to do is I'm having them join me so that they can be asking questions and making comments like you would do if you were, we had him being present. The other thing is that on Friday, Glenn and Eric and also June Chow is going to join us, because June has done a lot of videos with some of them where his avatar is interviewing her avatar. And so she's got a certain perspective about his work as well. So the three of them will be here to answer any questions and make comments about the interview. And we will play that interview, a part of the main event on that Friday. On the 26th, being the day after Christmas, there will be no main event. On the 1st of January, the Big Al, Big AI challenge will begin. And I will post a challenge on that day, and then the last Friday of January, we'll invite everybody that's participated to come and share their thoughts and their results on the main event. And then on the 2nd of January, that is a Friday, and I was saying, well, it's still the holidays, we probably should not have an event. But I mentioned that it was also my 82nd birthday, and everybody suggested, well, let's have a birthday party for Big Al. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have a main event 144 on the 2nd of January is going to be Big Al's 82nd birthday party. And you're welcome to bring any virtual gifts you want. Show us some of your stuff. I am planning on also presenting some stuff, basically kind of showing some things from various stages in my career. I'm not going to cover everything because we would need far more than 1 hour to cover my 62 years in advertising. I think that, I'll show you some stuff that you haven't seen and get a little idea of what I've been doing in my long career. So that is going to be the second. The only other thing I have planned after that is one that I don't have the date secured yet. That'll be announced pretty soon. So thank you, everybody, for coming. Brian, once again, greatly appreciate it. Oh, wait a second. Eric's got a comment before we close off. Go ahead, Eric.
Just a request. You've always told us you started drawing when you were 4 years old, so I hope you still have some of those original drawings that you could include.
I have absolutely some, and that was my plan for the first stuff that I show you.
Awesome. Great.
Including one, when I was 4, I was taken to see Sonia Henne skating at the Olympia Stadium in Detroit. I was so impressed with her skating that I immediately had to, the next day, do a picture of Sonia Henne skating. And she's got her arms spread out, and she's on one leg, and the other leg is up behind her. And I figure she must be going quite fast because her bra is actually below her boobs in this drawing. So anyway, you will see Sonia Henne with a slightly risque outfit.
So that made a very big impression on you as a young child.
It was, the thing is, one of the things I was doing was copying some of my mother's life drawing class, nude drawings. I may not have always placed the leg in the right place, but you'll be surprised at the level of the work this is going to be work for between ages of 4 and 6. As I've probably previously mentioned, that I was working on 18 by 24 sheets of charcoal paper with pastels and charcoal at that age. My mother started teaching me to draw when I was 2, and she's taught me how to draw rabbits and chickens and and these little simple things at 2. So that was the start of it. But then she made all this equipment available to me. And I was literally the kind of person that if I was out playing with my friends and I got an idea for a picture, I'd leave my friends and I'd come back home and do a picture. You'll get to see some of those things, as well as some of the stuff that I, for Chevrolet. I haven't found the ad that I created. I wrote the headline, did the layout, and it wasn't even an assignment, but everybody liked it so much I showed it to the client. One of my early goals, the reason I wanted to be an art director at 4, was because I wanted to do full color spreads in Life magazine. And this ad I did for Chevrolet station wagons appeared in the original Life, Look, Post, and Automotive News. So early in my career, I met one of my life ambitions, and the second one was in '77 when I actually got to Madison Avenue. So everybody, thank you for being here, and we'll look forward to having some fun in the next couple events and beginning the challenge. And hopefully those challenges will be something that is expanding your thoughts about what kinds of things you can do, just like the name challenge was. So thank you, everybody. I'm going to stop recording now.
Thanks, Al.
Oh, so
Bye.
Mad
Thank
Men
you.
was
Bye-bye.
based on you.